you taste it, you taste the coffee, you taste the love and the intention in the coffee. And I think that's very important as a business person when you create a business, that you create with an intention. The intention is tasted, it's heard. Huh?
Welcome to Building for Bliss, a show for the sensitive and creative entrepreneur who wants to build their business with success, joy, and ease. I'm your host, Nicolina Werther. Hello, so today I'm here with Rachel Samuel, who is one part of the Gesha Village Coffee Estate. So I'm super excited. So that's an amazing project. Hello. In Ethiopia, but also kind of everywhere in the world. Where do you export to? I don't even know. So just tell me everything you want me to get people to know about your story and what you do.
Yes, Gesha Village is a unique product. It's a unique product in such where it's a product that's been really created with a lot of intention. With intention of producing the best coffee in the world. Really, my husband and I, we've met about 15, 20 years ago. Maybe marriage, about 15 years ago now. It's going to be, seriously, we grew up together. And we wanted to have one intention. One intention is we love coffee. And we feel like Ethiopia has the best coffee because the terroir is really just delicious and amazing. And so wanted to create coffee with, details, attention to details, put a lot of love and thought, and really consciously thinking of like how to create the best product. Honestly, it was like, we thought, okay, if we love coffee and we can take care of it, what would happen? And so I'm going to take you back a little back for the little story that I was telling you is we were commissioned to do a documentary film. As we were also photographers and documentary filmmakers before that in a previous life, we were commissioned to do a documentary film for Ethiopian government on the intellectual property issues that Ethiopian government was fighting with Starbucks at that time. And Oxfam was involved and it was kind of like a big deal. And Ethiopian government came and said, listen, we need you guys to kind of document the uniqueness and the nature of like how Ethiopian coffee is consumed daily by its people everywhere. And so we had a chance to just travel all over the country. And we were just like, oh my God, we never drank this much coffee and delicious coffee. Coffee with salt, coffee with butter, coffee leaves as a tea, coffee in every level. Okay. So, and we just like loved it. We went all around, all north, south, east, west. So it was spectacular. And I remember we had this aha moment at the end of the documentary, which was a month long. And when you do documentary film, you really, really, really understand the product. You know who works in it, who are the players, who in the government make the rules and regulations. And we were kind of into it. And we had this moment of clarity, I remember. And we said, how about we do this ourselves? I had this moment of like, why don't we do it ourselves, our way, the artistic way? It's kind of like that moment of like, it's like a kind of like a collective, it was like a moment of clarity. I can't really tell you. It's kind of beyond. Yeah.
You know it's right, but it feels too big.
It felt big, but it was just like, it felt too big because it was just like, oh my God, what are we going to do? But it was just like, we didn't care because the feeling was amazing, And so we said, okay, great. So once we put that in stone, we came back. At that time, we were going back and forth to America and Ethiopia. I'm from Ethiopia. He's American. And we went back to, at that time, we were living in Los Angeles. And we kind of gathered our thought, what we wanted to do. And we said, okay, the first thing we should do is learn about coffee. Be the best at the knowledge of coffee. What does quality coffee mean? How can we get quality? And what does that quality coffee mean? Because we want to, Ethiopia is like, coffee in Ethiopia is amazing. If you ever get a chance to drink coffee, Ethiopian coffee, just go for it. It's delicious. It's amazing. The terroir, like I said, it's just, you can't really go wrong, But we wanted to excel it, to be on top of it. Like, what if we put details? What if we love it, nurture it? What if we put all the thought in, as a creative and as the humans we are, what if we can just do that in the coffee? What would the product be like? And so we set out, we went to Panama, we met experts to teach us. We really spent time in our craft and learning our craft. And then at the same time, we decided, okay, you know what? Why don't we learn further to put this into works? We found the perfect land. And, elevation is important. We thought, having proper enough sun and rain was important. And so we went all around for a few years finding the perfect land. It took us at least a couple of years, I would say, minimum, not more. And then finally we found the perfect, and it's kind of like in the middle of nowhere. It's like in the border of like South Sudan. It's crazy. If you just see that, you're like, what are you doing here? You just go, you cross two rivers, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. We're just like in the middle of nowhere.
Like, how did you know it? Because I know, obviously, I haven't said that. I know you're from personal development courses, so I know you're all about being intuitive and all that. How did you know it was a perfect spot? Like, how much was rational?
Intuition.
And how much was intuition exactly?
Intuition. You know what? It was intuitive because when you land over there, and it was like in the middle of nowhere, but the forest was just like, hello. It's just kind of like, oh, it's just like there's a forest in the middle of nowhere, just like, hello. It's like, it's like home. We felt home, and it felt home. And what was also special was the people, the chiefs there. The chiefs, the very spiritual, the very knowing. There's this knowing and very like, they want to talk to you. They spend time analyzing and connecting with you. It's kind of special, it's not like there's something chill about them. And they ask you a question, they listen to you, they want to be convinced in what your intention is, and they ask you about your intention again and again. And you're like, it's almost like you also rethink what your intention, you know what I'm saying? It's like somebody just wants to hear you, and you're like, yeah, let me just rethink. I think, let me clarify my thought. And it was just like beautiful because it felt like there's innocence there. They were so innocent, and you want to care for them, and wisdom.
Yeah,
innocence and wisdom. So it's almost fragility that you want to take care. Responsibility. So being there, we came in with an intention of responsibility and love, and with the intention of growing together. Like dancing together. And the two chiefs were really, Oma, who passed away about a year ago, and then there's Shaya, that's also still around, but they're really just like cool guys, like old guys are just like, Oma is always with a cowboy hat, and he got these like really like funky cool jewelry. Just like, and I love hats. I'm not wearing one today, but I'm obsessed with hats. So I have like a whole a room full of hats. So I really am like, you're cool, and like, he wears like yellow pants and always in his white horse, and you're like, what in a cowboy hat? Like, what am I? Like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. You guys don't even understand. It's like crazy, like I'm a visual person, so visual element is very stimulating, So anyway, we started with putting the land together, hiring the right people, and really with the intention of like trying to get quality. And it was a virgin land, and so that's how we started. And it became very quickly, we became very attentive to it. We didn't cut corners. We started connecting people that are really. It was very interesting because at the beginning, people didn't work in that area. Like nobody worked. The men were like. The women, it was very interesting. The women with their children on their back would come and work on the nurseries. And they would come and start working in the nurseries, because that's first, you have to start with the nursery. If you know anything about coffee growing, you start with the nursery, with the seed, and put it in the nursery, let it grow. When it's enough growth, then you put it out there in the land. The women used to come working in the nursery, and all of a sudden, they didn't ask their men for money. They look good, and they look good. Okay, around that, like fashion is very important. What she wore today, she's not gonna repeat it in the afternoon or the next day. There's no mismatch. Okay, they just look good. Colors, hairstyle. I mean, like Yeah, and I love fashion, but like they take it next level, like haircuts, like jewelry, like creativity. You understand? It's like,
Absolutely.
oh my God, I love it. But the women start not asking their men for money, and they still look good. The men are like, wait, what? No, sorry, you don't need me, and wait, and you look good, and what? You leaving again? And whoa. So it was a very interesting moment where women start being in control of their reality and their lives, and then they start knowing and understanding they value themselves,
Absolutely.
and then the men started coming asking for jobs. The men are strong, and so before you plant, you have to clear a lot of the land. There's a lot of like weeds and stuff that needs to be cleared in the forest, and we kept about 30-40%. We had to of the forest, the virgin forest, still there, but there was a lot of deforestation that we added. About, I would say, at the beginning, at that time was about, so that was 7 years ago, was about 800,000 trees we planted the first year, which was, and you needed a lot of effort, so you needed a muscle support. But it came organically because the woman did it, huh? The woman did it. They came, they didn't need them, and they're like, which company came in? What are they doing? Who are they? Oh, we want to get some gigs here, And so they started working more for us as well. So things kind of happening, and we really became a company that, we heard the employees, we trained them, we had that advantage because they didn't know, they didn't work with other farmers before, they didn't work at all, period. So we had, and they were smart. So we told them, this is quality coffee, this is how you pick the red cherries, and we were all about quality. So everything is done in our farm in the highest quality possible. So there's no cutting corners, so everybody's trained. I mean, we have clients coming from all over the world that randomly ask the cherry pickers random questions, and the girls would be like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. This is how we pick cherries. This is what's good. This is what's not good. This is how you check it. This is how you not check it. So they really are educated in that well. And we have this like amazing way of processing our coffees. And then we have like all these steps that we follow. So that's how it started.
How big is the company? Like, how many people are working?
Oh my God. So at the farm, we have about 800 people. In Addis, I would say about 50 people.
Okay. Do you ship globally, or where do you?
We ship globally. Yeah. We ship globally. Yeah, we have international clients. Some of them share on Instagram. It's really we are called in the coffee as coffee lovers coffee, because you taste it. You taste the coffee. You state the love and the intention in the coffee. And I think that's very important as a business person. When you create a business, that you create with an intention. The intention is tasted. It's heard. Huh? It's thoughtful. For me, as being somebody that works really on my activity, on my intention, deeper intention, I really also elevate my employees that way to create stuff. Our employees mostly grow. We don't really lose employees. They come, they grow with us, they evolve with us. They really like working with us. And they always are like, okay, so what's next? What's the next project? And we just, like not a year ago, like a few months in October, we opened a high school near our village, because what was happening is, what we noticed is there's about 8th grade, to 8th grade, the kids are educated. Then they go to a different region to get high school, but then they never come back. So, like I said, since it's a village and it's a lot of people, we decided to, they asked us, I said, what do you guys want us to do? And they said, oh, usually it's a clinic or whatever. I help with the clinic. The government does a lot of good work over there as well. But they said, how about you guys help us build a high school? And we're like, okay, that's a good idea. Let's start to that. Beautiful. It's beautiful. You see it on the Instagram. It was just kind of like amazing. And they gave us cows and
I could ask you lots more questions about all the village, because it does sound incredible.
Oh, you have to come and visit.
I'm come
and visit.
Yes, you're right. I mean, that's another thing we could touch on the last 2 years more, but before we go there, I'm
Yeah.
curious because obviously you're a creative person, you have a creative background, you're an intuitive person as well. How, for example, your creativity, how does that play out in your work? Is it separate? How do you feel like?
No, it's not. It blends in together because, because of what I was telling you about the intention of having quality, we also wanted, the intention goes in with the clients. And the clients, because I wanted to create a client that also understands our coffee. It's not about just getting the moving the coffee. It's about a person that wants to buy our coffee. Is a person that really understands and deserves that coffee in a way. I mean, I don't want it. It's important that you love the coffee, because I'm really putting that thought into it. You know what I mean? Everybody has that thought into it. So because of that, our clients all over the world, they also value that. So, and we value them as well. So we give them, we don't nickel and dime. We don't, we have an understanding of the particular types of clients that we have. We understand their flavors, their need. So I ended for instance, in Japan, I know what type of flavors they would like, which particular client, and I can say, okay, you can have this because we divided our coffee like a terroir, like a wine. So I would say this one would fit with you, and we can send you samples. And I'm pretty good as we cup the coffee, which is like in November, December, it's like where we cup like a sommelier, we cup the flavors. It's exciting. I'm like, this flavor will resonate well with, for instance, with Nicolina's personality. She would love that because that's how she grew up. And so we say, this is for Japanese client, or this is for the American clients, or this is for the Emirati, or we know exactly what to whom. The Taiwanese are some of our really favorite clients, and I understand what they're looking, what they're into. So as we cup, and there's few of us that are cuppers, as we cup, we understand, blah, 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 will love it. This would be great for competition. This is, so in countries, in different parts of the world, we know which companies would desire which coffee. And we pretty much, this year, actually, I would say we nailed 100% of the samples, which is kind of rare, because people would say, no, I messed it up. No, but this year we just nailed it. And we're like 100% we send, 100% they love the coffee we send, unquestionable. So as the year goes by, it became like you're perfecting it. You understand what I'm saying? You're perfecting, and it becomes that beautiful,
Well, what's your favorite part about the job? Because that definitely sounds like something that you love doing, but I guess there are other parts.
Cupping is my favorite. Cupping is my ultimate, because it's that relationship, with the land, with the earth, with the trees. Because I always spend time in the forest and connecting and talking and just kind of feeling the vibration of the trees. And then I come up, and then I become so grateful. We do celebrations every year, and the gratefulness of Mother Nature and Mother Earth for this delicious opportunity. And when you cup the taste, you see all the little coffee trees doing their intention, what they're meant to do.
I remember that from mindfulness circles or wherever, where you're always like, well, you can still taste or smell the market, the land, the hands that went into the work, and it's all in that cup, right?
It's all in the cup. And it becomes like that's why we exist, right? To experience, to feel, to breathe it, so I feel like I'm always lucky.
I mean, clearly, as you said, you have a very intentional business. Do you work specifically with people who are drawn to that kind of work, or is it more that people are like noticing your quality is really high but don't really know why you're so good? Or
I think it's a combination, like lately especially, it's been like, oh my God, Gesha Village, they're so amazing. And sometimes among people talking about among friends, people are talking about like, I can't wait to meet Rachel and Adam because they're Gesha Village owners. Who are they? We're larger than life, So we're just normal people, like sometimes people make fun, like you go to Japan or to and people just like get all excited, like, can I get like la 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 photographs, and they get, but in this industry, we've raised the quality of coffee. The how coffee should be grown and how people should be treated, how to value oneself. You understand?
And the nature as well, I guess, right?
Well, the nature, coffee is amazing, I was telling you. But one, as a producer, we created this nation is love yourself enough to feel worthy enough to put intention in your coffee and what that you're producing and you're sharing to the market, you know? So that was never a thing. It's like, it's gonna grow. So I'm sure I'm gonna get buyers, not a problem. But when we came in, we say, actually put intention, take care of it, love it, nurture it, then get more value for it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a different way of thinking. They're like, what do you mean value? Like, what do you mean take care of it? It should just, it's nature, like let it do its thing, And then like, well, yes, but like give it a more thought, like what do you want from it, And so we always are very free in our talking and sharing our knowledge. We even bring, other neighboring farmers to come and learn from our coffee because we give them tours and things like that. We give seedlings. We're very active in social, whatever people need. We're very much about knowledge sharing. So anybody that calls and says, hey, Rachel, I need help with this and that, and we're just, we're very good at sharing, which is not typical tradition in the country, in the culture. So that has changed, and so everybody says you guys are inspirational, in your approach. And, we don't have any problem sharing information, seedlings, so that kind of stuff. So it became kind of a free thing. Like I can also, if they could do it and they can share information, I also can do it, which is not a very normal culture,
Yeah.
So
was it easy to implement, or was it a journey to get
it was a journey? Because you also have to trust, because it's not how my dad taught me or my mom taught me. My dad was a very successful business. I grew up in Ethiopia. Yes, I finished high school here, but I never saw that, and I didn't really like that. Frankly, that's what it is. It didn't feel good, but I didn't have that. It didn't feel good. My dad was in a very successful business. He raised us really incredibly well, but that aspect of sharing and moving and fluidly elevating your neighbor as well was not a very common thing. And I really didn't understand why. I never understood why. And I'm like, why? What is it? And I always say, you cannot be as a creative person, I can only see this way. That person would not ever see it that way. They would see it from their perspective, which is completely unique, So I love to create from my perspective. So the fear of you're going to copy me and you're going to be more successful. When I get asked this question, different parts of the world, they're like, how can you just do that? And I'm like, because I'm the only one that can create this intention.
Absolutely.
It's my expression. Nobody else can 100%. Express it. You know what I mean? I always, even when I was in LA, I remember working with other photographers, they used to get, Rachel, why, wait, how do you let her pose this way? Why is she doing it? And I said, because it's me. We are connecting. Ourselves are connecting, And it used to be the same thing. And I said, it's the same thing growing coffees. It says, you can never grow with my thought, with my intention, with my desires. You cannot. It's my imprint. You know what I'm saying?
I love that. Yeah. It's like this whole idea of, the personal brand is always unique. No one ever can get it like that anyway.
Absolutely.
It's like the tree, every coffee plant is unique, right?
You understand? Exactly. But a lot of people don't understand it that way. It's very strange, For me, that I've always known that. And that's why I never understood my dad. I'm like, why are you worried? Because only you, but then that followed me was when I was a photographer and I was traveling in India and things like that. And I'd be like, it's just her and me. And I can react this way, but not anybody else can. It's like, do you, because it's going to be unique to you, whatever you're creating. That trust, I guess. I was very intuitive as a young age. Since I was 3 or 4, I remember very intuitive and connecting to the air and smelling and knowing. There's this energy of knowing and presence that I felt that I was unique, and I felt that way, So
I think it's becoming a theme on the podcast, intuition. And I love it because obviously I'm all about that too. It's amazing. What's coming up for Gesha Village?
Okay, so we have honey now. That's another project of mine that I'm so excited about. And I can't tell you, it's like, I love bees. Don't ask me why I love them. I love them. They're always in my bedroom too. It's very strange. I don't know why they come up in the morning. They're always in my bedroom. And I'm like, guys, like, there's nothing going on here. Like, leave, like there's a window open. They're always in the bedroom. Don't ask me why. It's so bizarre. But we started this Gesha honey that's really amazing tasting. And, already our clients are kind of excited about it, even though a lot of tariffs, you pay a lot of tariffs. A lot of our clients are like, I don't care, it tastes amazing, we want it, and we know your intention and how you're going to produce it, it's going to be great, so we want it. So that's, the bees are doing their thing and they're bringing, so I'm very excited about that. It tastes amazing. I want to share that to the world. The other thing we're starting now is bamboo construction, because we want to create housing and we want to teach learn ourselves first, and then teach the locals to not use wood, use bamboo, because bamboo is so much stronger. It's so much stronger, and there's so much bamboo in Ethiopia. And it's going to be very exciting to, bringing some folks from Bali that can help us do crazy constructions. They're coming in a few days. It's very exciting because I'm already, my assistant and I went to Bali to learn. Bamboo is fascinating. It's fascinating. It's just another nature element that I can chit chat with and, understand and, value and grow from and grow with. So it's an opportunity. So I'll keep you posted, and it's going to be an hour.
You have to import the bamboo, or how is it?
Oh, there's like 2 hours from our farm, there's like massive amount of bamboo that people don't use. People don't know what to do.
Okay. So that makes sense then. Yeah.
So I went to Bali to understand it, to learn it, to know what to do with it, to know how to do it. Teddy is like one of those, wizard that understand constructions and things. And
I follow a lady on Instagram, well, actually someone who helped me with some tech stuff, and they built their own house on Bali. It was bamboo, and she kept posting all these pictures. I mean, not that I know how it worked, but I just saw her, while they were doing it. It was just fascinating. I was like, how did you do that?
Exactly, right? It's amazing, and it's just, there's something so simple, and I don't know, simple and cool about bamboo that I really love, And we don't want to import, like I said, we're in the middle of nowhere. So I don't really want to do the same stuff again, with like concrete and stuff. I really want to use nature and kind of, and I think the trees would love that. They'll be cool with that. You have to consider the extended family.
Well, I guess we will see it on Instagram, if not somewhere else.
Yes, you will.
Amazing. Is there anything else you would like to add, or?
That's it. If you don't have any questions, I'm good.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was really inspiring.
Wow, I feel like I want a coffee now. And I don't even normally drink that much coffee. But I just think it's such a beautiful story about how really our intentions can determine the results we get. And as always, I'm curious what your main takeaways were. Is there something maybe that Rachel shared that you feel like, ooh, let me try and apply that in my own practice or business? Feel free to send me an email to info@nicolinawerther.com, or of course share it on social media and tag me at @nicolinawerther. Because this podcast is still new, so as always, of course, I would love you to share it if you're enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying it. And then I hope you'll be back for our next episode. I will be speaking to Jocelyn Perez Blanco, who is a plant educator, herbalist, conservationist, gardener, flower essence therapist, and everything else that has to do with nature, plants and animals actually. And she'll be sharing with us a lot about her work, what got her into it, and the highlights of it, and how that too makes, of course, a huge impact to everyone's well-being and the well-being of the planet. Until then.